Hello everyone, this is the team developers and we are going to present our project that is OneMED Android application for the annual Switch Convention for Innovation. I am Dipankar Maharana and my team members are K. Nirmal Kumar and Sri Ballabh Sahu. So what exactly is OneMed? OneMed is an Android application which creates a connection between the doctors, the patients and the pharmacy. We have seen due to the pandemic, it's very difficult to get appointment in a hospital. So with help of this app, patients can easily post their issues and get appointment with the comfort of their home. In here, the data of the patient is completely secured and stored in cloud storage, and there is no need for the physical papers and stuff. Now, let's look at the problem statement. So where exactly the problem lies? In our current healthcare system, the prescription is handled manually by a receptionist. And also when we look at it carefully, there are many loopholes. When there are appointments for a doctors, there are various physical visits involved and thus making it a very difficult process. And also when patient's history is to be retrieved, it's very difficult as various paperwork is involved and it has to go through various registers. Also, due to the manual work and various human and calculation error are involved also at the time of billing and also in the hospitals. These are some of the problems we need to solve using our app. So what exactly is the proposed solution? As I said earlier, OneMed helps to establish a connection between the doctors, pharmacy, and patients. It will minimize a lot of paperwork involved in the healthcare system. Using this app, patients can easily book appointments from the comfort of their home and by their convenient method and using their own timing, they can fix the schedule so that there wouldn't be any trouble. And also the doctors and the patients need not to be physically present at the same place. They can conveniently attend call at different places. And when the patient health records is concerned, we store all the records in the cloud so that there will be no tampering of data. This app has been created using Android Studio and the code is written using Java. We used a Firebase real-time database to store the data of the patients and doctors. And also we have included the material design for the UI of the app. For secure authentication, we used Firebase authentication. The OneMed application is designed for multi-specialty hospitals to cover a wide range of hospital administration and management process of patient-centric system. It is an integrated end-to-end hospital database management system so that it provides relevant information across the hospital to support the effective decision-making, patient record management, and pharmacy billing in a seamless flow.
This is the flowchart or the data flow diagram of the OneMed application. And here comes the main page or the login page where the user need to enter his login credentials. And after he need to select whether he is from the organization, pharmacy, or he is in patient. If he is an existing user, then he have like an existing user has an like the whole hospital has in three users. That is the organization, which includes the doctors and the nurses and all. And second comes the pharmacy, which deals with the like providing the prescribed meds and all. And third is the most important, the patient in our application. There is no use of physical paper or anything. A whole data is stored in the Firebase, like an it acts as an like an backend database where the data is stored. And the patient has an access to all his details and all his health records, which can be accessed anytime. The data flow is like the organization has an access to add patient, view patient, or update an existing patient, or prescribe meds to the patient. And in this application we have like complete data privacy, and no user can access anything which he doesn't have any permission to do that. Like a patient cannot himself change or update his details. Only doctors have an access to update or change the details. And next we come to the pharmacy, where where it deals with the like delivering the meds to the patient. As we have recently seen that most of the pharmacy don't see the prescribed meds, and he usually gives without the prescription and all. So here only doctor prescribed medicines can only be disposed by the pharmacy, and the pharmacy has only access to the medicines which are prescribed by the doctors. And he cannot access the patient details or anything. He only access to the patient, like the meds prescribed by the doctor. And third comes the most important, that is the patient has the access to see his own details, like his name, his patient id and all. And he has the access to his medical records, like what are his previous diseases and what are his previous medications, and it was prescribed by whom for how many days. And his health records, like the x-rays and the blood reports, and everything can be is stored in the Firebase, and it can be accessed by both by the doctor and the patient, but the data updation permission has only given to the doctors. So this is the flowchart or the data flow diagram. These are the resource files and the class name which are like used for what purposes. And the code for this is available in the GitHub, which is given in the description.
These are the tech stack we used: Android Studio, Java, Firebase real-time database, Firebase authentication, Firebase Cloud Firestore. These are our login layouts. When we enter the app, these pages come and where user can easily create a new account and or also sign in to an existing account.
This is the login UI for the new register. Like if an patient needs to register to an application, he needs to enter his details, like the email ID, the patient ID, and his phone number in order to register an account. And while the patient gets registered, the data is authenticated or registered by using in Firebase authentication, which is an authentication provided by Google in the Firebase. Or this is an organization layout or the UI for in doctors, wherein the doctor has an ability to add a patient, view patient, and update or delete the patient, prescribe meds, and like confirm the appointments and see the consulted appointments and all. The layouts have been changed during like the development of the app, which we will see in the like in the Android Studio. So let's come to the like how the data is stored and how we have which data we have used and all. So for the storing of the data, we have used the Firebase real-time database and Firebase file store. These are basically a non-SQL database, or previously we have idea about the SQL database which stores in a tabular format, but in the recent development and all, we have using like in JSON. We use JSON because it gives us because it gives an option to store multiple types of values like the string, boolean, array, geolocation, date and time, which gives us very good advantage over the real-time database and the pre-existing like an SQL database. And this is the layout for the pharmacy, wherein the login UI looks like this. And the pharmacy will have the option to view the prescribed meds. And we will enable the billing console, wherein the pharmacy will be able to generate an invoice for the patient, and the invoice will get dispatched to the patient's mail ID. And we are thinking of integrating a payment gateway, wherein the patient has an option to pay the bills like from the app.
He or she can easily view his patient details like the patient IDs, the registered contact number, emails, etc. And also all the details are stored in the Firebase cloud so as to ensure maximum security.
Let's discuss what is Firebase authentication. Firebase authentication is basically a service provided by Google to enable secure authentication to the Android application we are building. To enable Firebase authentication, we need to include Google services.json file to the root of our directory. The file can be downloaded from the Firebase console, and we need to include the dependencies to our build.gradle file. To access all the services provided by the Google to our project, there are many types of authentication like email, phone, Google, GitHub, LinkedIn. In this project, I have used email and password type of authentication. Next comes the Firebase real-time database. In this project, we need to store the details of the patient, doctor on cloud to run them in real time and to sync the data between all the doctors and all the patients using them. So it's in real time wherein the data gets updated real time. So we have used the Firebase database as a tool to send and receive the data from the cloud. This is a non-SQL database, which means the data will be transferred in the form of JSON. To include Firebase database in our project, we need to include the dependencies to our build.gradle file. The database can store three types of values, that is the string, integer, and long, and has a node and children, wherein the data is stored in files and it's efficient and gets updated in real time. The Firebase real-time database is a cloud-hosted non-SQL database that lets us to store and sync data between the users in the real time. Now comes the Firebase Cloud Firestore. But Firestore has an various options to store data in various types like an array. We can store in geolocation, and we can also store data in arrays, which is not possible in a real-time database.
Now let's move to Android Studio for the implementation part.
Now let's just see the overlook of the project and what we have implemented. Firebase database reference is used for the location in our database for reading or writing purposes. And here we have declared all the items we have used in the UI, like the spinner for choosing the login type like an organization or the pharmacy or the patient, and the m password and the m email are basically the edit text wherein the user entered email and password we get. And we have used an intent to send a mail in case of there isn't some emergency or something. And this we have used an on click listener to see on clicking the button wherein the email and password gets authenticated from the Firebase and checks whether it is a valid authentication or not. If the valid authentication, then we are passing it to the next page, that is the homepage patient or the homepage organization. We are first checking whether it is from the organization or the pharmacy or the patient. Then we are then we are changing the page to the patient page or the organization or the pharmacy. And if the user is not registered, there is an option for registering the user. And from here, from the create on click listener, we are transferring the user to the register class wherein the details are took, and the user is being registered. This is basically the work of the main page activity.
Now let's move to the emulator to see the working of our app.
This is the login UI wherein we need to enter the email or password for the patient, and for the organization we currently have the employee ID and the password for them. And let's get check with the patient. We have checked in patient because we need to access the patient. And here we can see that the patient name, as my name is Nirmal Kumar, and here displays the patient ID. And here we can check my details, like it's in dummy name, the contact number, email, the blood group and my blood type, gender, my date of birth, and my ID number. Like an ID number is usually the Aadhaar card, the driving license, or the basically the ID of the patient is stored, wherein the patient is able to see himself. We can see my prescribed meds. It is in dummy data, like the medicine is prescribed by Dr. Avidepa Hosangadi, and here we can see the patient name, and here is the medicine name which is prescribed, and how many times we have to take, like it's basically the breakfast, lunch and dinner. And it is not prescribed for the dinner, so the dinner button is not visible. And we have the medicine start date and end date, and the duration of the medicines is also shown for how many days we have to take, and what are the medicines and prescribed by which doctor is visible here. Like here it's the next medicine which is prescribed by Dr. Nirmal Kumar, and it's here describes the medicine name and the times which we have to take the medicine. It's breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's also for the 7 days and all. And here is an explicit intent to call an ambulance of the hospital, where if we click this button and we can directly place a call to the ambulance of the hospital. It's an explicit intent to make a phone call. And here is the medical reports. And next comes the medical records, wherein the patient will be able to access his own medical records. And this is the testing. So we have used what we have like Vita is basically the name. Like we can write here the description like X-ray or the blood report or anything. And after choosing it, we will get the image of the previously in the blood report or anything. Like you can see, it's basically in testing image which we have used. And now let's come to the scheduling an appointment with a doctor. We can choose a list of doctors we need to we can to confirm the appointment. So let's just choose an test doctor, and we need an appointment for today. It says that the sorry no slots are available today, wherein the slots are updated by the doctor at the back end. And let's choose tomorrow. This shows the time slots available. The slot is available for the 10 to 10:15 a.m. of tomorrow. We are trying to integrate the payment gateway here, but currently we have not integrated. So we are, after clicking the proceed to payment, our appointment gets scheduled with the doctor. Here you can see that the appointment is scheduled for 9 September for 10 to 10:15 minutes, 10 from 10 to 10:15 a.m. and the approval is still pending by the doctor. So the doctor needs to approve or reject the appointment in order to get the appointment confirmed. So now just let's move to the doctor part and let's see how it's working at their end. This is the login interface of the test doctor, and the doctor has the permission to add a patient, view, update, and delete patient records. Let's just see the appointment the patient has scheduled. So here the options are from the approve appointments, the pending appointments with the doctor, and the completed appointments. Like we have opened an appointment for the 9 September for 10 to 10:15 a.m. Here is an option for the accept and reject. Like if the doctor needs to accept and he is free that time, doctor can accept the appointment here. Yes, I'm sure I want to accept the appointment. The appointment has been accepted. You can see the pending appointments to be consulted. It's to be consulted tomorrow at the time of 10 to 10:15 a.m. Now the doctor can send a text message if there is any changes or anything. So here is an option to chat. Here is the phone number which we have given at the time of registration. The doctor can directly text him from here, wherein they can have the conversation. And the doctor has also option to call the patient or inform about any changes and all. And this is the completed appointments. The doctor has completed appointments. And after him visiting, the doctor can click here that he had consulted the patient. Then the consulted patient moves to the completed appointments. And here you can see that it comes in the list of completed appointments. And this is the appointment date and the appointment, and the tick mark here indicates that the appointment has been completed successfully. And now let's just move to the patient login page and let's just see what it displays there. Login successfully. See. We can see that the appointment has been accepted by the doctor and the appointment has been completed. And as we are using the emulator, we are facing an issue with here showing the stamp of the completed. So if we use that in a mobile application, it would be all right. So this is basically the project of this is basically the working of the OneMED application. Let's just get in slide overview of the project. We have used in Firebase file store recycler view, which is still under development phase. So we have referred the docs in the GitHub. So this is the appointment adapter, wherein we have taken the details of the string ID is the patient ID, doctor name, appointment for scheduling the appointment. It is basically an appointment object which has the patient ID or the doctor name, appointment and all. And it is the doctor object wherein the organization ID, the name and the qualification and password of the doctor is stored. And this is the prescription object wherein the patient ID, doctor name, medicine name, as we have seen the like these are the boolean values for the breakfast, lunch and dinner, which is stored. And this is the register class wherein the new users data is getting stored and for Firebase. And this is the view medical class wherein all the data is fetched, and we have used the Picasso class to get the object and get it converted into image, and so that in an image view. And it is the prescription adapter wherein the data is fetched from the Firebase and it's sent into the recycler view and is populated there. We will see the UI for the recycler view in the XML files. This is the UI for the appointment booking. We have created a custom button and the custom background, which is available in the drawable resource SRC. It is the custom border we have created and the accept button border and everything it is available in the drawable resources. And this is the adding the medical records, wherein the user has an option to add a title, like whether it is an X-ray or the blood reports and all. The choosing and file option would pop up the files manager, and he can choose the PDF or image file, and it will get updated into the Firebase. It is the XML for the homepage of the doctor. It is the recycler view for the completed appointments of the XML files and the recycler view we have used. The all code has been available in the GitHub, which is provided in the video's description. So finally, this is all about our application, that is OneMed. Hope you all have liked it. Thank you.